Hi, so I'm just kind of filming this as like an initial vlog, like reaction, um, right after filming my first video essay for the introduction to this project. Um, so a couple like issues I ran into just filming. I mean, first of all, like just typical technical issues. One of my SD cards is like probably dead because I keep getting notifications from both my laptop and my PC that it is unreadable, but then it's able to read it, or like it's damaged, but it's still able to read it. And then the camera keeps thinking that it's out of battery. So that was an issue. And then the camera died, which I thought it was full on battery, and it wasn't. So that was great, but it only died once, which was nice. My back hurts because I was sitting in that stool for a while. Another thing with the like filming format that I'm doing right now is that I basically just write a literary essay and then read it to the camera. And the essay is very informal. You know, I write it the way that I would speak, which is honestly how I usually write essays. And like, what's nice about doing this project is there's no English teachers to tell me not to. Also, speaking of English teachers, this joke didn't make it into the actual video, but the humor that I'm doing an independent study as kind of like a break, like a gap semester basically, and I still ended up buying a textbook. That is not lost on me. I only spent like $20 on it, but still stupid. So when it comes to sitting down and reading it to a camera, the problem is like if I was doing this where I have the camera up here as kind of a webcam and then the screen down here, it might be a lot easier because I could read the script straight off the monitor. But I could maybe set up like a TV down there. I have like my college TV that isn't set up right now, and I could maybe set that up with like a script running on it, but I can't really be bothered. Um, so I do have to kind of do some memorization, not even really memorization, but like just I have to read it line by line basically, and then read it back to the camera. Which, if it was like a narrative film and I was an actor, I couldn't do that obviously because I'm probably having a conversation with someone. Being that it's kind of like a new studio thing, I can do that, and it's heavily edited, obviously, so it's easy to get away with that. And I've also been training myself to get better at kind of pausing before I look away from the camera, because that's one of the most, if you've ever edited anything with a subject like this, like in an interview format, that's one of the most frustrating things, is that it's not good to edit when like someone blinks. It's not good to edit when someone's looking away. It's not, or not edit, but cut away when someone's doing that, especially when you're doing like a jump cut from like one shot to the same shot. Um, yeah, that's not good. It just doesn't look good. It kind of messes with your eyes. Um, so yeah, I mean that's basically my experience with this first thing, and I'm just recording this as like first thoughts right after I filmed it. Yeah, so that's really it. Yeah, enjoy the next part of this vlog thing. Probably get some images of editing. So this is about a week after I posted the video, um, the first part of the video essays, and I've had time to rest and reflect on editing stuff. And just as kind of a reference, and kind of because it's part of the project, I'm going to talk a little bit about editing experience. This was not a super easy video to edit. I don't know, I didn't think it would be easy, but I thought it would be easier than it was. You know, especially with how easy Premiere and After Effects makes green screening these days. Like, I thought it was going to be so simple to do. Like, I thought it was just going to be throw on the Ultra key, select the green in the background, and that's it. This is me in a green screen, in front of the green screen, over the notepad background that I'm using fairly often, which I think I like. I might stick with that style, but I don't know. I might also just take a picture of my own notepad because I did just take this from the internet. But you can tell right here, I can just move myself around like this, right? Like I've literally cropped. I don't know. I think this has a crop. Yeah, it has a. So I cropped off some of the sides so that, because if I remove the crop right now, so you can see right here, you can see a bit of the green in the top left. And if I make this invisible real quick, you can tell a little bit that like the green closer to my face is a little brighter than the green up here, right? And so one of the biggest problems is that if I reapply that filter, basically I have a green from right around here that I use. In fact, it might honestly be, yeah, I have a green. I take the green from more like up in this corner. I figured out pretty quickly that the darker the green you take, the more it covers. Which if someone more knowledgeable than me on color theory saw me say that, they'd probably be like, yeah, no shit. This isn't even full screen. So that was one issue, is that like, oh, I didn't mean to make a mask. Having multiple shots, I mean, you can see the timeline down here is just a goddamn mess, especially with the text. It's just stacks and stacks and stacks. And again, I usually have this like, so that the timeline takes up this entire space because I have it on the second monitor. But I have OBS up here right now. Yeah, that was one of the biggest issues. And initially, the reason I have this here, green screening 2, as a separate sequence, is because I exported the entire thing and I was going to just apply all the green screen effects to one cut. The problem is, you can tell with the black background that at all these various points, like, it's just the lighting changes, and when I move, the lighting changes, and so every single shot is a little bit different. And so that became a big issue moving between things. And there's even parts like right here, you can see the green screen creating a little bit of an effect on this insider thing I took for when I was talking about behind the scenes of movies. And a lot of these have a lot closer crops than, actually this one doesn't even have one, which is crazy, but also creates an issue because you can see a bit of it there. But a lot of these are very closely cropped. Like some of them, I think even my arm cuts off. Yeah. You can see right here, my arm cuts off a bit because I went a little bit too close with the crop. I accidentally deleted this media, but that's my bad. But another thing that I wanted to do, let me switch back to my camera real quick. Another thing that I wanted to do, which I didn't get to do, because I just was going to take too much time, was actually for the text portions with the scrolling text, is get into like animating it. So you can see here, if I play it very open, video composition without the specification of use of a narrator, so you can tell that it like with the bullet point parts and stuff, it's not animated, but it shows up over time, right? But the way I did that was just have this part up here, this part up here when I say use of a narrator, this part up here when I say prepared script, and then this part up here when I say etc. I just put a joke in there. And the most difficult part of this is like just having this big stack of things, you know? And I'm sure there's a way more organized way that I could do that. I just didn't think of it. The one way that I did figure out to get around that I do sometimes, but not every time, is like I could have honestly done it here, but I just didn't. If I included this text, a piece of video content that, much like a written essay advances an argument, if I included that, all of these text boxes within this text effect, the bottom one down here that just says Filmmaker Magazine, instead of having like two on top of each other like I do here, I could just cut this off, right? And then paste all these. I think I can just paste all these into here. And then I can delete this, and it's all there. And it kind of animates itself as a piece of video content the same way. Definitely there are more organized ways to do this, and I am aware of them. I have a tendency to do it, the way I know, the way I'm good at. Quote unquote good at. Yeah, those were the two biggest time consumers, I think, is the green screen and the text. I mean, look at these fucking towers at some of them. Sorry, this is a school project. The other really time consuming part was honestly collecting green screen footage. That's one thing that I didn't totally expect, is I was hoping to be able to just kind of come up with that in editing, but really, like, if you want to be super organized and pump out video essays quickly, you kind of have to like storyboard in a way, or like collect these graphics beforehand, unless you're like fortunate enough to work at a company or something and you have like interns to do that for you. but I am not. And so it's just me. So that's why, like, you can tell earlier on I have a lot more green screen footage. And then as it goes along, there's a lot more of the yellow background. And the reason for that is that I got lazy and I wanted to get the video out. I mean, I wanted to get this done because I want to move on to the next parts of the project. And so, yeah, that's why, like, I noticed this too with the podcast that my friends and I do, that both me and my buddy Tim, who is one of my co-hosts, tend to do less cutting between our different cameras as the podcast goes along. Because when you start, you're like, yeah, let's do it. More green screen, more intercutting. And then you get along and you're like, well, I could just slap this yellow background over the top or over the back and, like, nobody will notice. And, you know, it's kind of true, but it's also, like, I do wish I could have spent more time doing a lot more green screen stuff. But it takes so long, and you also have to kind of get creative with what you're putting back there, because, like, some of the stuff I even chose is a little boring. It's like, why? I like this part where you get this one frame of me just how in the background. That should have been the thumbnail, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, listen, editing's difficult, and I learned the hard way that, like, when you see these YouTubers like Jakey, who I referenced in the video, is a great example. These YouTubers don't post all that often, and there's a reason for it. It's because this work takes a long time. And I learned there's some rule of, like, editing this amount of footage takes this amount of time. I know, like, for scripts, it's like a page of a script is like a minute of film, which is why, like, feature-length films will be like 70 pages long. There's a similar rule for editing, which I wish I knew at the time. I'll put it on the screen here if I look it up. But yeah, I mean, this stuff takes forever. It takes a really long time, and I can't really fault these YouTubers that post every 2 months. So if you're someone who's ever been in the comments of some video essayist or someone being like, "Oh, you never post. Why am I subscribing if you never post?" They never post because it takes a while. So just show them your support when you can, and be excited for their next post. Like, I don't know. But yeah, that's really it for this, like, behind the scenes quote unquote look. I'm looking forward to working on the next part. I'm going to get writing on the next script as soon as I finish this. Thanks for watching. Oh God, I can't speak. Goodbye.